This is the MHS Pawdcast, the online radio voice of Metuchen High School.
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us for the first ever edition of the Metuchen High School podcast right here on the MHS Pawdcast, the radio voice of Metuchen High School. I'm your host, Eddie Kalegi. On this show, it'll be a weekly show and we'll talk sports, news, and all things MHS. We've got a couple guests coming on today. First, we'll be joined by our sports contributor, Dylan Manfre, and discuss some of the great things that have happened in the last couple weeks in MHS sports. Boy, has there been a lot of them. And what we can expect in the future, specifically winter sports. Also, we'll be joined by the founder of the new Origami Club, Andrew Lau. First, like we'll do every week, we're going to run through a couple school announcements. First off, the food drive has been extended to Monday, November 6th. All items must be non-perishable cans and should be brought to Miss Lewandowski's room, that's room 119, by 8:20 a.m. It's a great opportunity, battle of the class points, some teachers even giving extra credit points, and also it's a very good cause. Also, remember, if you haven't already, have your parents sign up for parent-teacher conferences on Genesis. The spots are filling up rather quickly. Also, all freshmen must also sign up for a conference with their guidance counselor on Genesis. It's under conference scheduling on the Genesis module. Now, Metuchen High Sports, they have been on their game in the recent weeks. Between the cross-country's team's amazing performance at GMCs, the football team's recent success, and the girls' soccer and field hockey teams rising to the pressure in the state playoffs, there is so much to discuss. For more, we're thrilled to be joined by Dylan Manfre. Dylan, welcome to the show.
All right, thanks, Eddie. Let's get started with the field hockey. They lost their state game 2-1 to number 4 Johnson in double overtime. That was the second double overtime game of the year for the team. They finished the year at 17-2-1, 12-1-1 in conference games. Sarah Jenny, big news for her, was named the Athlete of the Week by the Home News Tribune last week. And Jenny, important to note that she came up with probably the two biggest goals in program history. The one to send the girls to the GMC final in double overtime, and the one to bring the chip home to Metuchen for the first time in 11 years in a 1-0 win versus South Plainfield. In boys and girls cross country, they have the state sectionals to look forward to this coming Saturday, November 4th at Thompson Park. Both teams had great showings at GMCs. Jake Beecher Senior, Jake Beecher, I should say, ran 15:56, a school record. The boys also had the school record in average time. Beecher is the second boy to win the meet in MHS history. Larry Weiss, class of 1989, is the guy to do it first. On the girls' end, Camille Lucier and Nina Suss had great showings. Both broke 20 minutes. And look for those two girls to be the big leaders on this team heading into sectionals. Having two girls under 20 minutes, both of them are the 5th and 6th girls in MHS history to do that. So look for them to be the big leaders on this team in sectionals and throughout championship season. In girls soccer tomorrow, the number 1 seed Metuchen Bulldogs opens up their Central Jersey Group 1 game against number 9 Riverside. The Bulldogs earned themselves their first round bye with being the number 1 seed. And Riverside won their round 1 game 8-2 versus number 8 South River. Onto football. Even though the boys lost their game against Denellen last Friday, 40-33. This was the highest scoring game for the Bulldogs this season. Will Haranich finished the day going 17 for 28, 255 yards, and 5 touchdowns, 2 of which were for over 50 yards. Senior Daniel Russell caught a season high 8 passes with 105 yards in that game. Also had 2 of Haranich's touchdown passes. And for the Bulldogs, their next game will be at Spotswood on Saturday. The boys return home on Thanksgiving to end their season against Highland Park. In boys soccer, they had their season end yesterday after a 4-3 loss to Johnson in the Central Jersey Group 2 tournament. They finished the year at 11-9, 9-3 in conference. Jack Bradley had 2 goals in the loss. Avi Okunapel sped down the field, weaving in and out of the defense to score the third goal. And Jack told me after the game that the season overall went better than expected. So the boys have nothing to be ashamed of with this season. And that's all we have for Metuchen Sports right now. Eddie, right back to you. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Dylan. Well, Dylan's staying with us for now here on the MHS Podcast. First, we got to talk about this cross-country team. They have performed great this season. As you said, there's big performance from Jake Beecher and a couple other runners. And heading into November, filled with some of their biggest meets, can we expect this continued success?
You really can, Eddie. Like I said, Jake Beecher, 15:56 for the school record. You know, and a lot of the top varsity guys are, getting close to running sub-16 with Beecher. Kale Johnson, Divij Gupta, they're close. I think they can do it. Whether they do it this season will be determined on the girls, and Camille Lucier and Nina Suss are going to be the big leaders on this team, with both of them running under 20 minutes this season, which is very, very big for them. Like I said, 5th and 6th girls in MHS history to do that, so it's a very big milestone for them. And Coach Halloran has commended them tremendously for their performances. So if the girls and boys teams can keep up what they've been doing, I see no reason why we can't have another Group 1 title back in Metuchen. Important to note that both teams won the Group 1 title last year. And, Homedale Park is one of the toughest courses in the state of New Jersey. It's one of the toughest cross-country courses in the nation, if that. So to see them run so well on a course like that just says a lot about them. Sectionals is going to be at Thompson Park, the course that the boys and girls are acclimated to for sectionals. So I expect nothing less out of these two teams than really a win, and if not a win, at least a top 5 finish.
Cross country's got a lot of meets left. The field hockey team season just came to an end, but what a year it was. Sarah Jenny, of course, winning GMC Player of the Week recently. What fueled this team to their GMC title and their success?
I really think it was the bigger emphasis on offense that Coach Beth McLaughlin, who in her debut season really had one of the best debut seasons in MHS history. She puts a lot of emphasis on the offensive end, scoring goals to win these games. The biggest difference from this team, really, from this season to last season, was the number of ties. That went down significantly. They only had 2 ties this year. Last year, they had 5. It was really just a big testament to their work ethic. And in the clutch, Sarah Jenny, like I said, 2 biggest goals in probably program history. The one to send them to the chip and the one to bring it home. So I think that momentum really propelled their season. The camaraderie these girls have really just is a testament to their play. And I think really that's what propelled them to their success this season.
Well, moving on to the football team. And it's been strong for them the last couple games. As you said, they had their highest scoring game of the season last Friday against Dunellen. What has been the spark for them lately, and how do you view their recent performance?
Well, I think these guys are really just getting comfortable into Warnock's system. Even though they have 1 win, 33 points is, their biggest scoring game this year. Haranis threw for 5 touchdowns, 255 yards, 17 to 28 on the day. They're getting more comfortable in the new offense. They're understanding Coach Warnock's language a little bit better. These players are intelligent, which is really the bottom line. They know how to run their routes. They know how to have a good ground attack. The main thing is these guys are winning some of the battles, but not the war. Haranis' short passing game is crisp. Showed a little bit of what he can do as he unleashed the deep ball the other day. But, they're winning the battles, not the war. That's what needs to change if this team wants to at least get another win before the season's over.
Alright, well, the fall sports are winding down, but as the weather cools down, the winter sports are heating up. And of course, that's mainly the boys and girls basketball teams. What are the X factors on this year's teams, both the boys and the girls?
Well, for the girls, we can expect Bryn Farrell to be another big focal point of the offense. 28.1 points per game, 12.8 rebounds per game, and she was held to under 20 points in only 2 games last year. So obviously, we can expect her to be a big focal point, but if anybody's going to be the X factor on this team, it's Sam Anton. Sam Anton, 3.3 points per game, 4.3 rebounds per game a season ago. Had double-digit boards in both games versus Dunellen. She's improved tremendously in the offseason. She's worked with Team Miller, who's her AAU team. She's worked with U.S. Hoops America. So she is working on her game, and it's showing. She's a good player, and I think with the experience that she had last year, she's really getting comfortable in the player that she is. She knows her playing styles, and heading into this season, she's really looking forward to getting back on the court and showing what she can do in all her new skills.
All right, so one more possible X factor. Kathy Glutz takes over as coach of the girls basketball team this season, and she has basketball in her blood. How will her experience on the court benefit this team?
Her experience will, she has a basketball mindset. All the credit to Coach Wexler for shaping this team. Glutz is really just going to come in and build off that. So I think that Kathy Glutz is going to be a big help for this team. It's yet to be determined. They haven't had a practice yet how really she's going to coach, but she has a relationship with the majority of these girls, being that she was the principal over at Edgar, so she knows these girls from their middle school days. And over to the boys basketball team, the real question is, who's going to step up and be the leader? They lost a lot of key seniors. They lost scorers in Danny Flaherty and Tom Christine. So I expect really Riley Watkins and Dan Petto to be the big focal points of the offense this year, along with Ethan Leibowitz. So I think the three of them are really going to step it up and show what they can do. They have 3 and 4 years of experience playing at the top level, so we can expect them to really go off, be the focal points of the offense, and really lead Metuchen to hopefully a record over 500 this year.
All right, well, thanks for joining us, Dylan. Congrats on being the first ever guest on the Metuchen High School podcast.
Thanks for having me, Eddie. Really appreciate it.
All right, when we come back, we'll be joined by Origami Club founder Andrew Lau. Now, a word from our sponsors. Insurance. It's a commodity. It shouldn't be an impulse buy. Purchasing the right insurance takes time, and it must be fitted for your goals and your lifestyle. Farmers Insurance likes to do it right. They invite you to sit back, have some coffee, and relax. They listen to your needs, desires, and dreams, and shape an insurance policy just for you. An old-fashioned take on insurance? Possibly, but it's been working for agents and clients alike for years. Visit your local agent, Ed Van Eckert, today at 54 Pearl Street right here in Metuchen, or call 732-548-4444 for a free quote. Ed's number one concern is Metuchen. Once again, that's 732-548-4444 or at 54 Pearl Street in Metuchen. Farmers, making the Brainy Borough smarter about insurance.
We are farmers. Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum.
Having trouble seeing the board in class? Do you need safety glasses for your school sport? If you answered yes to either of these questions, head over to Optique Unique, the eyeglass store at 406 Main Street in Metuchen. Optique Unique does it all. Not only do they offer eyewear for all ages, they also sell sports-specific safety glasses for kids and adults. Call them at 732-321-2020. That's 732-321-2020, or visit OptiqueUnique.com. Do you want to build character, build confidence, or even build yourself? All that and more can be accomplished at the Black Belt Institute at 23 New Street, right here in Metuchen. Students of all ages have been able to learn respect, discipline, fitness, and self-defense from their experienced instructors for over 20 years. Whether you're an adult looking for stress reduction or know someone young who has interest in Taekwondo, the Black Belt Institute is the place to go. The Institute takes a fun approach at teaching the rules of self-defense, instilling in their students an I-can-do-it attitude. Interested in taking a class? Call them at 732-205-9797 or visit their website at blackbeltinst.com. Once again, that's 732-205-9797 or blackbeltinst.com. The Black Belt Institute, Metuchen's leader in martial arts and fitness. Let's give a thank you now to some of our other sponsors. Thank you to What's the Scoop, Reflections on Main, the Main Street Barbershop, and the Metuchen Savings Bank. None of this would be possible without the help of these businesses. Origami, the art of folding paper, a craft done by so many all around the world. But Metuchen High School didn't have a club to allow people to express themselves in this craft. Not until this year, when one freshman decided to take the initiative upon himself and form the Origami Club. And that freshman is Andrew Lau. Andrew, welcome to the show.
It's a pleasure.
Alright, so what motivated you to start the Origami Club?
So, I've been doing origami for roughly a couple years now, and I decided that once I joined Metuchen High School, then it will be my initiative to try to start the club. And in high school, you really have so many more opportunities and stuff that you can do, and one of them would be to found a club. So with the help of a couple friends, I was able to found a club and gain a small following in it. I also have a lot of friends that are really interested in the club, and that's why I was really motivated to start the Origami Club.
Alright, so I went to one of your meetings, and I saw that there were 3 different things that may happen at club meetings. What are those?
So obviously, many types of clubs like these have an open workshop where you are able to express your creativity and ideas in whatever craft is in that club. So obviously, in origami, you'll be able to do many different origami creations and crafts in the Origami Club. So we provide many different materials, different styles of paper, different sizes of paper, and many different instructions, so you can do whatever you want, basically. If you know what to do, if you're a more advanced origami crafter, then you will be able to craft whatever your imagination limits you to. One of the other activities we do is a team building competition, and this is basically when we form teams that try to create a specific origami model the fastest, and after that we judge the different origami models, which is based on accuracy and speed. The winning team will receive a prize. Occasionally, we also use giant pieces of paper to fold basically giant models of different origami pieces. For example, we are planning to build a huge dragon model with a big piece of paper in one of the following meetings.
So I have another question for you. So you guys are going to be creating some very exciting things like that dragon you said. How do you plan on displaying your creations?
Actually, our advisor, Mrs. Cotto, was planning on creating sort of a little cabinet or using one of the already shown cases near the office in order to show off our creations, because we want other people to see what we are able to do in Origami Club. And this really also shows other people our potential and will possibly interest other people into joining our club.
So if anyone has any questions about the club, who should they see?
So, I am the founder of the club, and I feel like that I have enough experience to answer a lot of basic questions, which are mostly about the types of folds, and how you do this, and how to fold different items, because origami instructions can be very, very complicated. So, if somebody needs help on that, I can try to interpret the instructions for them. If I can't interpret them, I have one of my co-founders, Jocelyn Chow, is very good at interpreting these instructions, possibly even better than me, and will probably fix it for you.
Now, I am not a great origami person myself, so I am wondering, for other people like me, do you need certain skill levels to be a part of the club?
No, you do not. We try to interest people of all ages in the high school and of all skill levels in order to gain the biggest following we can get. If we only attract, for example, advanced people, we might only have less than 5 or even 10 or even 5 people in our club. But if we have beginners, intermediate people, and advanced people in our club, then we can have possibly a couple dozen people in our club, and that's what we really want.
So one last question before you go. What are your plans for the future of the Origami Club?
So the Origami Club has just started. We currently only have 2 meetings so far, and this really paves a solid road for our future. So one thing we're planning to do is to try to gain more followers by, for example, advertising, putting more posters up around the school, and, for example, displaying our creations. So that's one of our plans for the future, and possibly try to make revisions and changes to the club that some people might find more interesting. We're always open to suggestions, so if you have one, please contact us immediately.
Alright, so the Origami Club meets every Friday after school in room 122. Thank you for joining us, Andrew, and good luck with the club.
Thank you, Eddie.
And that's going to just about do it on the first ever edition of the Metuchen High School podcast. Thank you once again to our sponsors and all of our listeners out there. We'll be back with another edition in a couple weeks. I'm Eddie Kalegi, signing off on the MHS Pawdcast, the radio voice of Metuchen High School.